Rasmus here. Today we're taking a look at my old practice amp. So this is a Peavey Vypyr that I brought maybe 8-9 years ago, something like that. It's a 75 watt amplifier, solid state modeling thing. It has a bunch of models of various Peavey amps, obviously, but also some other ones, and we're primarily going to go through those, kind of the metal tones, if you will. And to record it, there is like an USB out thing, but it doesn't work very well. So instead I have an SM57 and a AKG P4, which is basically a tom mic from a cheap drum kit microphone set. And then I'm playing my Jackson Chris Broderick model here, which has a Seymour Duncan Black Widow in the bridge. So again, this amp has a bunch of amp models, and for each amp model there's a green and a red mode. The green being kind of a low gain crunch setting, you will, kind of like a Peavey 6505 where you have the crunch setting, and then you have the red version, which is kind of the all gain mode. You also have some stump boxes where you can add a tube screamer, so I might do that on some of them. It doesn't sound that well, it sounds fairly digital, but you can hear. Yeah, so if we start with the diesel, I don't know which diesel model it is, but we start with that on the red mode, and then we'll work our way down from there. So it sounds like this. And for all the amps here, I'm going to try and run the EQ fairly straight. The gain is right here at around 2 o'clock. So not all the gain, but a good bunch of the gain. So this is bone dry, there's no reverb or delay, and there's none of the stump boxes added in as well. This is just the amp as is. And honestly, I think it sounds quite good. Now keep in mind, so this is a 1x12 speaker, and it's an open cabinet on the back. So as far as I remember, they tried to do some trickery, also modeling a bit with the cabinet, or the power amp section, if you will, to make it sound, so on those bigger amps, make it sound more like a 4x12. And it doesn't really work. The low end sounds kind of weird when you know what a real 2x12 or a real 4x12 sounds like. A close back of those. Whereas this, it has the low end, but it sounds sort of artificial. So let's try and add a bit of reverb and delay just for some lead playing. So I do that by pressing the effects buttons. So some of the buttons can be pressed to activate another mode. And then we can add a bit of reverb. Sounds like this. And we can also add a bit of delay. So have the level and feedback here. Yeah, nothing wrong with those at all. I think the reverb, both the reverb and delay, is very useful, kind of throughout the spectrum. It's it's obviously on a cheaper amp like this. It's you don't expect much, and you don't have like various modes for each. It's just one or two knobs. So the reverb is just one knob and the delay is just two knobs. But I think it works and it does what it needs to do. So just for comparison, here it is dry again. Okay, so let's try another amp setting. So if I press here, then I get the same amp, so the diesel amp, but now in the green mode, which is a lower kind of crunchier gain. So yeah, it's definitely a crunchier mode, but I think it sounds real good actually. I think it sounds a lot better than the red channel. As I mentioned earlier, it's possible to add a tube screw in front of this, so let's try it. And this is a tube screw in the box, of course. You could also just have a tube screamer pedal. You can buy a tube screamer clone nowadays for what, 20 bucks? But this is just all about what in the amp. So this is with the tube screamer. So this is with the tube screamer in the amp in front. It can work as well. It cuts a lot of the low end, and I think it cuts too much for the cabinet not really having a ton of low end to begin with. So let's just try it without again. Obviously also less gain, but that's kind of the trade-off, right? So next amp. So this is the K-Stein amp, or Crankenstein, I presume it is. Start in the green mode. Oh, we started the cable again. So this actually has more gain than the diesel in the green mode. So let's try it in the red mode. So this honestly sounds pretty massive. The low end works nice. It doesn't sound too artificial. Yeah, really great sounds. Only complaint on that sound is that it's quite ice piggy, especially when you sit just next to it. So meaning that the high end kind of is a bit too much, a bit more than you would have on an actual cabinet, because there is kind of a high end roll off, so you don't get those really high pitched notes. But this this seems to have a bit more, kind of bit too much high end at least. Next we have the Rectifier, or the Rec, here in the red mode. Even more low end, I think it's a bit too much, and it seems like they have in some artificial way tried to boost that low end even more, so that you get that feeling of a dual rectifier. Not my favorite sound in this amp. Let's try it in the green setting. More of a kind of classic rock sound, if you will. I don't know. I haven't owned a rectifier. I think people usually just use it in the kind of red, whatever, high gain channel, then with a tube screw in front. So this is a bit different. Sounds nice. Next, the 6505. So this is actually one of Peavey's own amps that they also have in there. So I actually own the 6505, had that over here on the side. So we start off on the green channel, so this would be the crunch mode, I presume. Now for me, the 6505 should have a ton of mid-range and be kind of warm and a bit muddy. This seems to be even, kind of the low end seems to be below what the speaker can actually do. So again, it sounds weird and artificial. At least in the room, I'll hear afterwards how it sounds on the recordings. Almost sounds like we have an octave pedal going. Pretty strange. Also, it doesn't really seem to distort quite the same way. As I remember, the crunch channel becomes almost kind of fuzzy when you have kind of the gain on max, whereas this just seems kind of distortion with a bunch of mid and a lot of low end. So here we have the 655 on the red channel, so kind of the standard for metal sounds, I would say. So let's hear how it sounds. Sounds great. It sounds great, but again, it has that bit of artificial low end that they tried to enforce it to make it sound like, oh wow, this is really massive, you know, when you try it out in the guitar store. Again, it sounds pretty good. Does it sound like a 65.5? Yeah, I don't really think so, which is kind of strange given that it's actually Peavey's own amp, so you would think this to be one of the better models, but honestly I prefer the two first models, the Diesel and the Frankenstein. So here we have the JSX, which is the old Joe Satriani signature as far as I remember, based off the Triple X, I think. Here on the red channel. It sounds really good. It doesn't have a ton of low end, I guess a bit more Marshall-y you could say. But yeah, it sounds like something that would work really well in a mix. The JSX on the green mode. A lot of bass and a good bunch of mids. You could probably call this muddy. So here we have the Peavey XXX on the green channel. So all of a sudden this is definitely a clean channel. So for all the other amps it was a kind of mid-gain tone. This is definitely a clean channel. So let's dial down the gain a bit. Maybe add a bit of reverb. Yeah, sounds great. Nothing wrong with that. So here's the triple X on the red mode. It sounds a bit odd, to be honest. It seems very twangy, kind of, Telecaster-ish, while also having again that weird low-end rumble that doesn't really appear to be on a real amp. And now we come to the lower gain side of things, so don't think I'm gonna go much further, but this is called a classic. I guess it's a Marshall. Possibly what it's called, JCM 800. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed checking out this little amp. Why is it relevant to still demo? I think there's a bunch of these out there for very little money, so if you need a practice amp, this might be a good grab if you thought that it sounded good, even though it's a bit old. But yeah, again, modeling is a lot of hit and miss, so some older units can still sound great, while, even modern units can sound like shit, right? So yeah, but honestly, I think this sounds quite good and it has served me quite well over the years. So as always, thank you for watching, and if you want to see more of these, of course subscribe, and maybe leave a comment on what you would like to see more of below. So if you'd like to see more lessons on something specific, either if it's shredding stuff or riffs, or if you want to see more gear demos, leave a suggestion below and I'll make sure to follow that. So thank you, and see you next time. Bye!